right, hi everybody, and welcome back to
Oi Mista!
With me, Katie Blake.
And me, Louis York.
Hey Louis, how's it going today?
Really great. It's hot here in the United Kingdom right now.
It is really
hot. For April especially.
What?
For April especially.
Yeah, it feels like July.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not, and I'm not super loving it.
No. We don't have aircon here. In fact, that's very apropos, is it not?
Yes. Because today we're talking about
weird housing, but yeah. we will not weird housing. Not everything can be weird. We did weird holidays.
We did weird holidays.
So no, this is just housing. The differences between the UK and the US. Even housing, it's not a great name for it because it's like it's a bit
home quirkiness.
Yeah, well,
home quirks.
Yeah, so good. Love that. I'm having a great time.
Okay, yeah.
But before that, have we got any segments?
Segments? Oh my goodness. Oh, I completely forgot about segments.
I thought you were going to say, oh my goodness, I've got a great one.
Got a great one. Actually, no, but I do just have a story that I'd like to tell you about because I took the train here to come to your lovely home.
Thank you.
But there was a man on the tube and he just like smelled like a bottle of glue.
Yeah, well, glue sniffing, that's a classic of the genre.
No, I don't know. I mean, I think it was just like, I don't know what it was about. He looked like a businessman.
How interesting.
Yeah, I know. It was like, because you'd think like, oh, maybe that person would have a profession that had to do with glue.
Maybe he's a glue, maybe he's like head of Prickstick or Elmer's. He's Elmer.
He could be.
He's Elmer.
Yeah.
I mean.
Mr. Elmer? Or does he have a first name?
His first name is Elmer.
Oh, then what's his last name? Glue.
Elmer S. Glue.
Elmer S. Glue. Jesus Christ. No, I mean, do you have a funny, weird thing that we should have talked about this before we started?
Yeah, we probably should have done. Normally I can pull something out, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. Let me rack my brain.
Oh. We did Where's Wally already, and you clocked me for that really hard.
I was very proud of that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we could talk about... I was thinking about this today, where you guys have, like, different words for vegetables.
Oh, yes, that's true. That's a really good one.
Yeah? Okay. Oh, thank you.
No, I like that. We have aubergine.
Aubergine, yeah. Courgette, which is a zucchini, and aubergine is eggplant. There's rocket, which is arugula.
Coriander.
We have that.
Yeah, you call them coriander seed, but you call the leaf cilantro.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that. We do call it cilantro.
Yeah.
Do you have the cilantro gene?
I do, but I enjoy the taste of soap, so it's okay.
That's insane. Are you serious?
So sometimes I'm like, I want this Mexican food to be more soapy. Like, this Vietnamese pho could do with some soap flavour.
What?
I also like culantro.
What's culantro?
It's saw leaf cilantro. Saw leaf. It's like a long leaf, but it tastes...
It also tastes like soap?
Yeah, it also tastes like soap.
Like a different type of soap?
No, it's like Imperial Leather versus Dove. Dove moisture.
That is so gross. Oh my god. All right, well, that's what, weird vegetables. Also, they call something, like, okay, because I have an Australian roommate.
Oh, yes, it's bell pepper, but it's...
Oh, they call it, yes! She said it the other day, and we were both making fun of her a lot.
It's, like...
Okay, wait, I'm gonna Google it. Oh, just dead silence on the pod.
I'm in.
Pepper, what to do? Capsicum!
Capsicum, yeah. I think they say that in the South as well.
Oh, in the American South?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard it before, but like not... Maybe like I haven't heard that before. When she said it the other day, she's like, ugh, all I have my capsicum, I can't. That sounded Russian.
Capsicum?
Capsicum. Or no.
Oh no!
What'd you do with those capsicums? And I can't do it.
Did you say her name?
No, I didn't.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. I know. I'm trying not. No, because she's really not an internet person.
No, try to anonymize these people as much as possible. She could be from anywhere in.
She could.
She could be South African. She could be Canadian.
Or nor.
Clear
the condensation.
Condensation.
It's actually, I feel really bad for her because she lives with two Americans and we were both insufferable. Yes. But I actually feel like it's payback because I used to live in a house where I was the only American and everyone was New Zealand, Australian, and I never had any idea what they were saying. And now I feel like the tides have turned for her, and I'm actually seeing one of my old flatmates this weekend, and like I'll be back to being the odd one out. But like, I like giving her payback.
The tide is high, and you're moving on. You're going to be the number one. Number one.
Yeah. But anytime she says anything, both of us are just like, arr!
You're not the kind of girl who gives up just like that.
No, I'm not. Speaking of not giving up just like that.
And just like that.
Just like that.
Biggest beauty comparison.
I couldn't help but wonder, why is there no air conditioning in the United Kingdom?
Well, the only other thing about vegetables is the reason why is that we obviously have a lot of French influence here, hence aubergine and courgette.
Right.
And, roquette, all that. Whereas there are lots of Italians in the US, so you have zucchini and arugula.
Right.
And also eggplant, which I believe is the word for aubergine in Italian is a transliteration of eggplant. So it's I don't know what that would be, but
amazing.
Because the original aubergines were small and white and looked like eggs.
Oh, really? Yeah. Interesting.
Instead of being life and bubble.
I love aubergine.
So do I.
Nice, like roasted aubergine. My favorite.
I was Sainsbury's, my local Sainsbury's, largest purchaser of aubergines.
Are you joking?
No.
How do you know that?
Because the Nectar Card, it was either Sainsbury's or Tesco's. Nectar Card and Club Card both do a version of like Spotify Wrapped, where they tell you like what you bought, like all of the numbers.
I don't want to know that.
And it was cream cheese and aubergine, the two things.
I think mine would be like little treats.
So fair. No, a lot of people have that, like biscuits and stuff as well.
I love a little treat.
I pretty much buy 2 aubergines every time I go to the supermarket. So
that's crazy. I didn't know this about you.
I love an aubergine pasta, nasi ragu.
So good.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite thing to eat in like a nice Italian restaurant is what's the one with alla norma. Oh, so good. Little parmesan.
Parmesan,
yeah. Yeah, parmesan.
Mm-hmm. Another food. Different plants.
Parmesan.
Well, it's Parmigiano Reggiano.
Parmesan. So we say it more right. Parmesan. Parmesan. Parmigiano? Parmesan.
I'm not sure.
Parmesano? No.
How do you spell it, though?
No, I just know that in this instance I am right and you are wrong.
But do you spell it S-A-N at the end?
S-E-A-N?
Parmesan.
Parmesan? I don't actually know how it is.
Because if you're spelling it G-I-N, because it's not Jean, it's Parmigiano. It's with a J.
No, it's, P-A-R-A-M-S-E-A-N. Parmesan.
Why is the S a J?
Oh wait, that's not how you spell it. I spelled
Parmesan.
I spelled that wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm an idiot.
So
Google was literally had it right next to it, and it was like, "You're dumb."
Parmesan.
Yeah, Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Okay, you know what? We're Holmes, quirky Holmes. I'm cutting you off.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so should we just go back and forth about like weird things about?
Yeah, sort of, key features.
Yeah, okay. I found this BuzzFeed article.
Love that.
Classic. Detached houses are like a luxury and most people live in terraced houses. That's what this first one says.
So you're doing UK ones then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you do things about America?
American ones. I've got British ones.
Great. This is good. I will find a different article.
No. I think that this we'll just be able to discuss it.
Yeah, we will be able to discuss it. I'll just go through this.
The point is that is the difference between terraced and detached.
Yeah.
Not that's for both of them.
Yeah.
So we can discuss.
So like people have like townhouses, which is what we call like a terraced house, where it's like all connected. My parents live in a townhouse right now. Nice. But I grew up in a detached house, like usually most people do.
Yeah, well, this is semi-detached here where we are right now, but it's also been converted into flats. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, actually, this used to be a car dealership.
Really?
Yeah, that's why it's shaped the way it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where would they put the cars?
No, this was all built, so there was literally a hole.
Oh, this was like a parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
When was this built? Because the other thing is that most houses in the UK are like way, way older than even the United States.
Yeah. So I mean, this was probably not built actually that long ago, but it is not unusual in the UK to be living in 100 to 150-year-old housing.
Okay, yeah.
So that's going back until the Victorian era.
I think I live in a Victorian. You've
Yeah.
been to my house.
Yeah. It will be. It might be Edwardian. But
okay.
There's the housing boom in this country happened in waves, which is actually true for the US as well. It's true everywhere. But you get a lot of housing being built in the Victorian era because obviously that was a big boom economically.
Yes.
And the development of the railways meant that you had a lot more space for people who worked in the city to commute.
Okay.
And so they wanted to have nicer houses, and so that they would be built in a lot in one go as a terrace.
Okay.
And so it was. That was a sort of more economical way to fit more people in. That doesn't mean that they weren't nice houses. I think people. There was a recent post talking about a back of a house in Leeds saying that Americans would think that this was horrible because it was just a brick wall with a garden, but actually it's perfectly okay. I think it's less to do with the quality of the housing or the design of it, and more to do with the
space.
No, the cultural connections with it.
Okay.
So if you see a terraced house and think that it is poor quality or that it's dangerous or whatever, then you're not going to appreciate the design, the opportunity for community, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. It's it's definitely something to get used to in the UK. I mean, I think that if you're like, it's so funny. Like, I used to watch like House Hunters International, and it's like that's sort of the biggest thing is like, oh, the Americans come into houses and they're like, oh, it's like so small, like it's and that's just, I think that's genuinely like the biggest difference is because everything is so old here and it's a small country. Like, you guys, for the same price that you would pay like here versus America, like you just get way more space.
Well, there's just a lot more space in the US.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a lot more dense country than the US overall.
Mm-hmm.
Not more than some parts of the US, but then if you think about New York, people are all in apartments. So it's see, that's not even people.
What is that?
This is a flat roof.
You guys, I don't know if you can hear that, but there was just a bunch of rustling above us.
I think it's animals.
Animals. Oh, like a squirrel or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
I was slightly scared it was ghosts initially. Because why are people walking? Like, it sounds like there are people on the roof.
Oh, do you believe in ghosts?
I believe in miracles. No, so the other where I grew up, the house was medieval. So people always say, oh, you know, there must be ghosts, but there were witches' marks which stopped the satanic things.
Okay.
And so I said, no, well, because there are the witches' marks, you know, there's nothing satanic. And so, oh, well, ghosts aren't satanic. And it's like, well, yeah, from the perspective of a medieval person, they were, because they were sent by the devil to trick you.
Oh.
In order to, I mean, if you've read any Shakespeare, that's the whole point of the ghosts and the witches and everything, is that the devil is sending them to
get you to do bad stuff.
Get you to do bad stuff. Yeah.
Turn away from Christ.
Exactly. Christ.
Sorry.
Jesus.
I don't know why I said it like that.
Like, exactly. So we were protected in that sense.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think people can take, well, because there's no ventilation, there's a lot of like cracks, and it's all wooden, that house,
creaky.
Which is unusual. We'll get to what houses are built. It's creaky, doors open and shut by themselves. And things move.
Also, the summertime, you guys leave windows open. I was in my house yesterday, and it scared me to death because there was a window open and then a door closed.
Yes, well, exactly. So people will think that is a ghost, but it's not. It's just the way that the air moves and the vacuum and everything.
Yeah, no, sure.
So once you know that, and once you know that a big crack in the ceiling is just this house settling and all that. I mean, that house doesn't even have foundations, so.
Yeah.
Literally, when you rip up the floorboards, there's just earth. You sometimes get plants going through the floorboards.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm kind of split on if I believe in ghosts or not. Just because, like, I'll tell you this off camera. But, like, my brother has like genuinely one of the craziest stories that I've ever heard in my life.
I think that it can be helpful for people to have that as a thing, but it's not where I sit. I don't sit in the ghost believing.
Yeah, I have a couple stories too. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not going to deny people's experience. I'm not going to say that what happened to them didn't happen. It's just not. It's not part of my
Yeah.
There are things beyond my philosophy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm split on it myself. Because I'm like, that can't be real. But then, like, I hear these things or I see these things and I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, I'm not split. But
I twitch.
No, I'm not gonna
I'm
not
split.
gonna have a go at it. I think there are some people who really look forward to the opportunity to like.
A classic British pessimist.
Well, no, because I
don't believe in anything except I don't know. I ran out of things to say.
I think it's sort of dark to believe that, you know, your soul is then stuck in sort of endless torment on the mortal plane, unable to communicate with people you love. That's not nice. That doesn't seem to be a sort of, that's not a nice feeling.
No, it's not a nice feeling.
No.
Should we get back to housing?
Yeah, but well, you know.
Detours. Also, this one says, also terrace house are also tiny. Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah, small fewer
spaces.
rooms and adjoining walls. So as we explained, you can hear what's going on. But that's true of apartments as well.
Actually, ours is quite well built.
Ceiling.
Like, we can't hear what's going on in the next room over. If
Well,
you're in the hallway, you can hear everything.
That brings up the next point. Well, from my perspective, which is what houses are made of, and houses in general here are made of bricks.
Bricks.
Not true in the US, as I understand it.
We have houses made of bricks.
Yes, I know you have houses made of bricks, especially on the East Coast.
Yeah, we do.
Somewhere like Boston, you'll see a lot of brick houses.
Yeah, DC too.
But there is a lot more wooden housing in the US.
I grew up in a brick house half of my time, my childhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
But most people in the UK live in houses
So there.
made of bricks. So that makes a difference. I mean, for instance, the whole punching a wall thing. A lot more difficult here.
Right. No, you would break your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy. So, like, do men not punch? What do men punch here?
Their wives. No, we're cutting that. We can't do that.
No, I know that will get us canceled, but that's really funny. I set you up for that so well. I'm so sorry. We do not condone violence at all. That's not funny. It's
That's
just
not funny.
no, it's
No,
not. I'll cut it out.
Please, because that is very funny.
Very funny to us.
To us.
To us.
I think, honestly, I do think it would do well, but I won't let it happen.
No, because we haven't gotten jobs yet. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah. That's the thing.
This is all okay.
Okay, I have another one.
Okay,
So the next one is, this is actually really interesting. You guys have separate taps for hot and cold water.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of it. Not in every sink, but in a lot of sinks. And the hot water in the UK is boiling.
So hot.
It is, like, in the US, you turn on the hot water and you have to wait like 5 to 10 minutes for it to turn hot. And when I go back, honestly, that is one of the most frustrating things about US taps. Like, I actually, and I have to actively remind myself, like, where I am and, like, this is not a big problem, but, like, I do, like, I get impatient. I'm like, why isn't it hot? I get frustrated.
Right, so UK taps
Yes.
are not mixers because back in the day you would have the rising main, which would be coming directly from the pipes outside. That would give you cold water.
Okay.
And you'd have a boiler that would take water from the main, heat it up, and then that water would come out of the hot tap. And so that they were literally coming from different places. And a lot of the time, with electricity, plumbing, all of that extra stuff that was put in, because they're such old houses, they were retrofitted. In which case, you couldn't necessarily put in all mod cons. You had to do everything higgledy-piggledy. The idea with two taps is not that you wash your hands with the rushing water that is coming down from both of them, sort of running between the two. It is that you fill up the basin and then wash your hands in that.
Oh, interesting. Also, go back.
Okay.
You said higgledy-piggledy?
Higgledy-piggledy. Now that should have been what we started with. Higgledy-piggledy.
Higgledy-piggledy?
Love that.
What is that? Is that a real word?
Yes!
No, I've never heard you say that before.
Oh no, well, there's not many opportunities to say higgledy-piggledy.
What is higgledy-piggledy?
Higgledy-piggledy means like, so the burrow in Harry Potter.
Like Ron Weasley's house.
His house.
Yeah.
That is built in higgledy-piggledy.
What do you mean? Like hodgepodge?
Yeah, but like on top of each other, like not even.
Higgledy-piggledy. That's cute.
So a child playing with Lego might make a tower that was a bit higgledy-piggledy.
That's really good.
The thing is, though, now you say it, it's like, that is quite a weird word.
That's such a weird word. That's such an odd phrase. Like, if I was just in casual conversation and someone was just like, I'm cleaning out my closet now, it's a little higgledy-piggledy. What?
Well, to be fair, that is literally what just happened to you.
No, I know. You're right. Okay. Fine. Okay, this one's dumb. This says the toilet isn't always in the same room as the rest of the bathroom. Which, that happens in America, too.
I also think it's quite nice.
Yeah, I agree. Because then if you have to use the loo,
mm-hmm.
then you can just
And you're not mixing the two sort of ablutions. Because
the atmospheres.
Exactly. Very true. One space is like a spa, essentially, that you've got to...
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a really deep fear of... Again, I'll go and talk about this. I have, a really deep fear of, poo particles going through the air. So, I keep my toothbrush in my bedroom.
So fair.
Because...
Well, if you're smelling it, it's in your nose.
And then it's in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I have a deep fear of that. Anyway, moving on. This one says we actually have kettles. We have kettles.
I
reject this argument.
This is an issue, which is that just because you and some people in the US have something, live in brick houses, don't eat weird Midwestern food, doesn't mean that the US as a whole doesn't have a different perspective on things. And I will tell you that kettles are not as popular in the US because you will have a kettle everywhere in the UK. In the workplace, in hotel rooms, everywhere you go, there will be some sort of way of making tea.
Yeah. Dorm rooms, actually, which I thought was crazy.
Of course there would be. But you need to be able to make tea. And also just having a way to heat up water is useful.
I also think this is interesting because you don't drink tea.
I don't drink tea, no.
So, okay. I drink tea.
Mm-hmm. You heat it up in the microwave.
No, I've never done that. I don't know who's heating up. What are you doing? Honestly, I have to speak to people about this. It takes too long to heat it up in the microwave. What are you doing? Order a kettle.
I've never done it. The key point that makes it clear to me that people in the US do not have kettles. My aunt, who grew up in the UK partly, and now lives in Seattle, had a friend stay over at her house. She used her electric kettle like it was a hob kettle, but the plastic on the hob and it melted, okay? Which takes a lot of work, because it's very clear that it's made of plastic and that the base is made of plastic. It's also very clear that there is a base that it's already sitting on and a little nubbin on there to turn it on.
Here's the thing, and I'm so sorry to your aunt's... Is it your aunt?
Yes.
I'm so sorry to your aunt's friend. But that is just a stupid person.
You can't disavow all of these things because eventually it all starts to add up.
Because that is objectively, if somebody came into my house and put a piece of plastic on my stove, that's objectively stupid.
Look, it's a situation in which...
if I did that in somebody else's home...
I would be concerned.
I would be... For my mental well-being.
Yes.
No, that is... No.
She didn't know. She didn't know what a kettle was, an electric kettle.
Yeah, but you still know that, plastic is not to be melted.
Obviously not.
Okay. This is still going.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Okay. This next one is quite funny. It says, we don't have dryers. We use the magic that is the atmosphere to dry our clothing.
Well, I just put a wash on and put it out to dry right now.
Okay, but this is where there's a flaw in the logic, okay? Because it is not... The UK is traditionally, almost sort of reputationally known for its bad weather, where it's always damp, raining, cold, and you guys do not have dryers. And in the wintertime, if you don't have a dryer in your house, it takes ages for your clothes to dry.
Yeah, it does.
So this sassy comment from this BuzzFeed article person is not...
Well, the reason why we don't have dryers is, as I said, because the houses are old and small, they're retrofitted with a lot of modern conveniences like washing machines. That's why washing machines in this country tend to be in kitchens.
Yes.
And don't have their own specific laundry room.
That's another thing on here.
The additional thing is that dryers are very power intensive, and electricity in this country is very expensive.
Yeah, they're horrible for the environment.
And they're very, very bad for the environment. So it is something where people can't always afford it. I'm very lucky that the washing machine here is a washer-dryer.
Oh.
So in the winter, that's what I do. But
Yeah.
then they get all crinkly. I prefer to have things dry, you know, hanging up, because then it's easier to iron. Because they're...
No, but see, in the US, like, if you put your clothes in the dryer, they do not need to be ironed. Like, they come out, like...
Even, like...
Fresh.
Maybe it's because I wear a lot of linen.
Well, obviously, you're gonna have to iron linen, Louis.
Yeah, almost all of my clothes are linen, so...
Yeah, that's, again, a you issue.
I guess so. But, you know, drying outside dries quickly when it's hot, and the sun, you know, and Russell was talking about how the sun is antibacterial and everything.
The sun is antibacterial?
Yeah. It's like the UV rays.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, the dryer could do that too. Like, okay, the one thing that I actually really miss about the US is like, oh my god, like fluffy towels. Because my towel is just like always, like, it's not fluffy. It's just like gritty and it's like dry.
Yeah, so the reason for that is when you get a new towel, it's covered in this wax. And if you put a towel through the washing machine and the dryer too hot, then the wax melts and then reforms into clumps. And you can't really get it, you can't revive it. So you just always have to wash your towels on a really low temp and not dry them at a high temp.
No, but like for some reason, like I'm telling you, like in the US, it doesn't matter how long I've had the towel. If you put it in the dryer, it comes out fluffy and it's amazing. Mm-hmm. And here it's just like, it's like a Brillo pad.
Yeah, but I sort of feel like it's exfoliating, you know?
No, I disagree. I miss fluffy towels.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, again, what, like, my tiny violin coming out, like, Jesus Christ. But that is something that I do miss about the US.
No, it's certainly a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
For the elite.
Oh, for the elite. Everyone has a dryer in the US.
Mm.
Yeah. I used to have a coin-operated one in my building in college.
Yes, well, there's circuit laundry they have for students in this country.
Yeah. I am familiar with circuit laundry. Because my building, when I lived in Edinburgh, there were like, I don't know, 200 people that lived in my building. There were 6 washing machines and 2 dryers. Horrible. What do you mean there's 2 dryers? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Okay, next one. Every house has central heating and all the radiators are strange and terrifying. Interesting. So I think that's talking about the US. UK. Yeah, the UK, sorry.
Yeah, because we don't have forced air.
We do.
EVAC? Was it? EVAC?
HVAC?
HVAC.
Yeah.
We don't have that. Now again, because the houses were built before that, you literally had fireplaces in a lot of locations. So,
yeah. We have fireplaces in the US though.
Yeah.
They're kind of a luxury though.
Well, as in a house was built because a fireplace was the only way to heat the house because nothing else existed.
Right.
So then with radiators, because it's from a boiler and then you put it on top of the house, it's literally in the room as opposed to built in with all of the ducts and everything.
Yeah.
Then it means that you can heat a house without having to completely rip everything out and redo it on the inside.
Right.
Yes, the issue with radiators is that I do not believe that they're particularly efficient.
No.
And
they're always by the windows in the UK,
a lot of the
which
time,
are not. You guys, this is a big thing when I was looking for apartments. Is that there's windows that are
single glazed
or double glazed?
Yeah.
And every place I've lived, single glazed.
Well, we've got lovely plastic windows here. That's quite good, but
actually, I think my house now is single glazed. Never mind.
But a lot of old houses, then you're not allowed to put in double glazing because they say it will change the quality of the house.
Yeah, well, I can see that because then if you change the windows, then it would change the outside, and you wouldn't be able to close it. Yeah, I mean, there's just all sorts of stuff on my windowsill that's just like, it's like paint chipping. My house is just kind of a wreck.
Nice.
Anyway.
Yes. No. The other issue with radiators is they get very hot, and if you touch it, you might burn yourself, which is like really great to have that inside your home. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, warming is putting a towel on a radiator and then sort of filling up with it. Quite nice.
I will say there is a particular. There are certain things about the UK that, like, when you come here for the first time, you are going to be like, I hate this so much. Like when it gets dark at like 4 p.m.
Mm.
But then suddenly, I think it's sort of like what's that? Where you get like kidnapped?
Syndrome.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome. Where like I went back to the US and I was like, why is it getting dark at like 5:30? Like I want it to be cozy and dark at 3:30 in the afternoon. Like, and then then when it is dark at 3:30 in the afternoon, I'm like, I want to die. I'd like my life to end. But there is something cozy about it. See, this is what I do. I go back and forth. And then the other thing is that I think there's a particular horror and also coziness in the fact that nobody really puts on the heat in this country. Sometimes they do, and especially like we are students. We are, well, we're no longer students, but we're working on it. And we do, if you know, that's the first thing that goes is like, don't put on the heat, and you just get like a hot water bottle, which we need to talk about hot water bottles.
Put another jumper on. Love a hot water bottle. I grew up with hot water bottles. That was I mean, we'd get back and the house would be so damp, everything, and you get into the bed and the sheets would be wet because of it had soaked up all the moisture from the air.
What?
And then you put the hot water bottle in and you'd just be in like warm water just everywhere. That's what I remember from my childhood.
That sounds really scary.
There was a bed bug once and we squished it and then all my blood came out. That was crazy.
What?
We don't have that bed anymore, so it's okay.
I feel like I could go back and ask questions about that, but I don't want to.
That was a crazy time.
A bed bug like on you?
No, it was in the bed, but I had a little big like boil on me from the bed bug, and then we found it and we squished it.
Oh, how can you only have one bed bug?
Well, we got rid of that one bed bug, and then there were no more.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't really know about that.
Huh.
It was huge though.
But usually bed bugs are like really
Like
tiny. Like you can barely even like.
To be fair, I was a child, so it might have been that it looked big for me. Because
No, but bed bugs are like microscopic. Like you could, like
Oh,
they always
really?
tell you, like if you go to New York City, like you always want to check the hotel mattress. That's like a thing that we do. Is
Yeah,
like
but
you
if they're
lift it up and it looks like there's just like dust on the mattress. Like that's how small they are.
oh, well maybe this is something else then.
Potentially, because that's why you have to tent, because there's so many of them usually.
No, this must be something else because this was definitely visible.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. Okay.
Right.
Next one. Oh yeah, the mailboxes. You guys don't have like fun little mailboxes.
No, because we don't have detached houses, so it's
Right.
and what we have, which I believe is easier, is that you get the mail through the post through your door, so you
Yeah,
have
it's
to go
easy-
out and collect it.
Easier for who?
For the consumer.
For the consumer, yeah. No, because
And also, it's not as if there's a long driveway.
that's true. I guess that's true. Yeah, but I mean, it's really so like the mail truck goes by, like usually in the U.S., which that's like one thing. Like I know that you like the mail people here, but like there's something so cute about U.S. mail, like mail trucks, the little post guy.
Yeah, I get that, and it's nice that they always bring the mail or whatever it is that they
They
do.
have their little hats, and then they put it. Well, sometimes if they're in the truck, they just like, and there's a street with a bunch of mailboxes. They don't even have to get out of the truck. They just like squish it, and then they get back. You know, like that's why it doesn't have a door.
Yeah.
It's just open.
Well, our post people normally just walk down the road and then just go to each house.
Yeah, and they have that big cart.
The big cart, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all in red, and what I think is interesting is it's called Post. It's the post office, or what's it called in the
Yeah,
US?
post office.
No, the company.
The company.
It's like US
U.S. Postal Service.
Postal Service, yeah.
Yeah.
Post, and then ours is called Royal Mail.
Yeah,
we
but
call
you
it
call
Post
it
and we
mail.
call it Mail.
Yeah, that's weird.
It used to be Royal Mail was nationalised, and then they privatised it, and it all went wrong. It was a big scandal, and there's a great TV show about it, which I would recommend that people watch.
Oh.
Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Right,
Because
this
the Post
came
Office
out
and the
last
Royal Mail are different organisations, but regardless, the whole thing was a mistake.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I think Toshiba was involved. Actually, strike that. Toshiba may not have been involved, so I don't want to be sued by Toshiba. Yeah, but love that. Love post, love mail.
Yeah.
We used to have rail mail. Miss that.
Rail mail.
So they would transport the letters on rail.
Oh.
Even had an underground in London. They had an underground system exclusively for post.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, which you can now go on as a tourist attraction.
Oh, I think I've heard about this. Yeah, it doesn't look very good.
Oh, I think it's one of the best rated sort of London attractions. Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking there's one that's like really bad. I'm thinking of the Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, that probably is bad.
Remember Jay went and it was like a bunch of
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I just name dropped her. She won't care.
No, she's not listening.
She's not listening. No.
Have you even told her about this? I don't know.
Yeah, she was very excited for us.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I miss Jay.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the light switches. You guys have light switches that turn on and off.
What's the alternative?
You just plug stuff in.
Oh, power outlets.
Yeah.
Those aren't light switches.
Right. Oh, right. Sorry. Yes. Outlets that you plug stuff into here in the United Kingdom, you have to turn it on or off.
Yes.
Which can be extremely confusing if you're on vacation here because you're always just plugging stuff in and being like, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working?
Could it possibly be this switch that when you turn it on, it starts working on the wall, right? That is connected to the.
I'm just saying it's like a canon event that, like, if you're not aware of it.
Certainly, if you plug something in and it's off, and you don't know that you need to turn it on, and you don't check, that would be irritating.
Yes.
But I find it to be unusual for somebody to, for instance, plug in their phone and not check for it to go. And
right.
If you're not paying attention to that.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's good for not wasting energy.
Yes.
It's good for. I mean, I have a whole extension cable with lots of off switches. That means that I can turn off my lamp without having to do it. It works quite well.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Control board.
Mm-hmm.
Our plugs in this country are great because they're more solid and you can refuse them and they're grounded, so you're less likely to get the appliances can be cheaper because they don't have to be double insulated. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I will say I don't think I've ever been shocked in this country.
You get shocked by appliances in the US?
Yes, well, I mean, sometimes, when you plug stuff in, it's like,
That's bad.
You get a little jolt.
No, that's awful. That's why we have the third pin.
I mean, it's not all the time, and you should, have a surge protector, that's always good, but yeah, sometimes I get shocked here at times.
But that's why the plugs here are better, because they come with that all installed.
Right. Sorry, to be clear, I don't get shocked by the British ones. I get shocked from the American ones plugging them into the
That's bad.
Thingies. Yeah.
That's really bad.
The converters. Also,
the US plugs, when you plug in something like a Mac charger block, it's so heavy that it sort of tips because there's not enough purchase with only 2 pins.
I was not listening to anything that you just said.
Really great podcasting. Really great podcasting etiquette.
I am so sorry. I was looking for another article.
Okay.
Okay, well, anyway, if you're listening to this and you heard what Louis said, comment down below what you thought about it.
Wow. Really, really feeling the respect.
Yeah, no, I respect you heavily.
Love that.
That's why this friendship works out.
Great stuff.
Sorry, I found an article. It says 17 very specific things non-Americans assume every single American automatically has in their home.
Well, the other thing I was going to mention about plugs is that we don't have it in the bathroom. You don't have plugs in the bathroom? No.
Yeah. Which used to annoy me a lot, but your sinks are so tiny that, you can't even do your hair in the bathroom anyway, usually.
No, because, again, we don't have any proper ventilation, all of the steam in the room means that if you just showered and you want to dry your hair, you can't see in the mirror anyway. So you might as well go back into your room.
Yeah. It's true.
Plus, if you're living in a house share, it means that somebody else can go and use the bathroom. And
yes, that is true. Yeah, if you're living, with roommates, or flatmates, that's always the thing. Yeah, I used to share a bathroom with like 4 people.
That's bad.
Plus 5. Because, and then, if they had friends around.
And they often did, as I understand it.
Yeah, my house was, we used to, on my old house, sometimes I would come downstairs and there would be like 2, like, New Zealanders just asleep on the couch. I'm like, oh, more fellow travelers. Yay. They were usually very, very nice. I actually love the New Zealanders as people. Like, they're genuinely so friendly.
Love them.
Very chill. I highly recommend living with New Zealanders if you can. Okay, so, garbage disposals.
Yes. We don't have them here.
Yeah.
Incinerators.
Yeah, we have it. I grew up with incinerators.
Very scary to me. Why
yeah.
should you put your hand down there?
Well, you lose your hand.
Exactly. And also, does it not attract rats?
No, because it goes underground and then it's all... Actually, I would think that yours is... Well, no, maybe not. I don't know.
I would prefer if everywhere in the UK had food waste collection. Not everywhere here does. It's irritating to me. I do not like mixing my plastics with eggshells and vegetable peelings.
Do you have food waste collection here?
Yeah.
Is that what that little tiny gray bin is? Do you have to buy one of those?
No, they should give one to you.
Okay, I think there's only one for us and our neighbor.
Yeah, it seems to me like the neighbor is using their one.
Well, we share trash cans.
Yes, but you should have one each.
Oh, okay, so we don't have one. Oh, this one is interesting. Popcorn setting on your microwave.
Yes, but of course the popcorn in the US, they tell you not to use the popcorn setting.
They do, yeah, they tell you not. I have never used the popcorn setting.
No,
because it can burn it.
So often have I burnt popcorn in the microwave.
Yeah.
What I would like to be able to do is some way of making a popcorn in the microwave without having to use the popcorn bags. Because...
But I love, movie popcorn in the microwave. Oh, that's so good.
Well, the popcorn here is a lot worse, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, we have really good microwave popcorn in
I
America.
have to go to an American store to get good popcorn.
Yeah. It's buttery and salty.
Yeah, the range of flavours is worse here. I have a business idea that I'm not going to share because I think it would do very well. So I'm not going to share it.
No, don't share it. No. Oh, interesting. Large quantities of over-the-counter drugs in huge bottles. Yes. And that is something that I bring with me to the UK when I come back from America.
It's not as if painkillers, for instance, are particularly expensive here. You can get a pack of paracetamol or something for a few pennies. But the reason why they put them in blister packs is to stop you from taking a big handful of them and swallowing them in one go.
Yeah.
With the idea that if you have to go through methodically and remove every single
You'll
one,
think about it.
You'll think about it and realise that it's probably a mistake. Also, it's quite a silly thing to do in terms of the actual physical movement of it, so maybe you're going to cringe. I don't know if that's a factor in
I genuinely no, and here's the thing is I think that if you're that determined to do something, sure, but I honestly think that it would save lives if we did it the way that you guys do in America.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that it would save lives. However, I need my jumbo size bottle of ibuprofen. Ibuprofen. I do. I need it because I sprinkle it in my coat pockets. I have it everywhere I go just in case.
But surely it is easier to not have loose pills than to have take a blister pack with you and put that in your pocket.
No, it's so much easier to just have a loose pill here and there. It's so much easier. No, because you get a handful and you're just like, oh, I gotta go, and then you just leave.
As opposed to take out a box, put in pocket.
Ugh, I can't be bothered. No. No, and you have to go and you show your ID. For ibuprofen, and then you get 12 at a time. I'm sorry, that is an insanely low number.
I'm just trying to not hurt is it kidneys or liver? I don't know.
I think it's not good for, it's something like that.
One of them.
It's not very good for your stomach and your heart, I don't think.
Yeah. No, well, aspirin especially is because that thins the blood. So
yeah, it's
that's
NSAIDs is what they're called.
Mm.
Yeah, they anti-inflammatory drugs. I don't know. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. I don't. Oh, they're good. Maybe for your kidney. That's a picture of a kidney.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need them. Being a lady, you just never know when you're gonna have a random migraine or other pains and aches that you just all of a sudden you need a few.
Well, as I said last week, I recommend, or 2 weeks ago, dispersible Panadol. That's what I've heard.
Right. I can't remember if we talked about this on an episode that we pre-filmed, then we threw away, or if we've already talked about this on an episode.
I think I listened to it on Spotify.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Fridge with an ice dispenser in it.
Yeah, that's sort of seen as fancy here.
Oh, so you do have them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, like, only fancy people.
No, see, like, in the classic American household is that you have, like, in your freezer, you have a box, and it just, like, your fridge makes ice for you. Always in your freezer. So, like, you'll be watching a movie, and then you just hear, like a bunch of, like, ice falling out. All the time.
Nice.
Yeah. And I...
Well, the fridges and freezers are a lot bigger in the US as well.
That is so true. The fridges are really quite tiny.
A lot more difficult to fridgescape in this country.
Fridgescape?
Fridgescape.
Like landscape your fridge?
Yeah, have you not heard about this? This is the, like, non-entity. So, this went viral as a thing where people said, this is stupid. How are people now making a trend to landscape their fridges by putting little trinkets and things in there?
Right, so you would do it.
I tried. So then I thought, actually, because I'm just that sort of person, I was like, this sounds fun, I will do this.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and there are maybe 2 or 3 actually authentic fridgescaping videos. Everything else is people talking about fridgescaping.
Okay, interesting.
Everyone else is just copying the same videos or doing a parody of the videos or reporting that those videos existed.
Okay. So is it like containers for things?
Yes, so that's one part of it, and it came out of the trend where people would show you restocking your fridge.
Right.
But it would also be like, this week I'm going to do a cowboy-themed fridge, and I'm going to put a bolo tie in my milk and have a little plastic horsey in the door. Like...
Wait, that's insane.
Yes! I thought it was quite funny.
That is quite... No, I would do that for the bit.
Yeah.
I think that's like, oh, no, it's like you come into my house, the fridge is... We're doing a theme week. I think I'd be friends with that person.
It's Spirit Week in the fridge.
In the fridge. This one says, I'm convinced almost every American has a mountain of pillows on their bed. I think that's just like a man-woman thing.
Yeah.
I think like once you have a woman in your life and you realize the value of multiple pillows, you know?
I need that back support. I'm putting pillows everywhere.
Pillows. You need pillows. I have 4.
I think that's perfectly safe. In a double bed?
Yeah.
2 each.
Yeah. I actually think I could use more.
So fair.
You know? A little throw pillow, a little decor.
Now, this I actually do have an issue with. Pillows that you have to remove in order to sleep, I'm not.
You're against.
I don't want decorative pillows. I want pillows for use. And I would... A lot of pillows for use is absolutely fine. But they need to have and they can look good as well. But a sort of, one made out of horrible fabric and it's got all of cord and everything. No.
Yeah, I like a little... The thing is like I would have nowhere to put them if I bought decorative pillows now.
On your bed?
On my bed, but then like when I'm sleeping, like I have to put them somewhere else, and like that would... I don't have that much space, so...
This is the thing that I imagine with these people who like have displays that they have in their house that has to be removed at certain points, is that you spend so much of your day moving things around. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
well, in my house, we have a lot of storage, like the house I grew up in. So, like, we had Easter decor, or we had, things for the fall time that would go up. Not like a ton of stuff, but like, different
okay,
flowers.
As long as you're not doing it every single day.
Oh, yeah, every single day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Do you have anything that's super that you think is weird about American households?
Everything. Oh,
everything.
Well, the whole way that you have an apartment and a doorman we don't really have here.
A doorman, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the same way, unless you're very fancy.
Well, that's really only a very fancy thing that happens in America. That's like more of a New York City thing, having a doorman. That's what you see in the movies.
Well, that's what I'm basing this on mostly.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Going up the lift and then. What else? I mean, it's not that different. I think we've done pretty well talking about the differences.
Yeah. What time are we at?
I'm on 54, so
yeah,
it's not too bad.
53. Yeah.
I think that this was a better version of this episode in terms of content than the previous one.
Yeah, I think so too.
We managed to not talk about your weird fear of lizards.
Wait, but now that you brought it up.
You saw a lizard on a drive, and you
did.
were very scared.
That was a good story.
But you have a pet squirrel. This is our disagreement, which is about house critters, which is relevant.
Yeah, it is relevant. Let's bring it up.
We don't have lizards in this country, by and large.
Yeah.
In which case, I personally.
Wait, what do you mean by and large? Are there lizards here?
I'm not. What I mean by that is that I don't want to limit myself if it turns out that there are lizards that I just haven't seen. We have slow worms, which are lizards without legs, which I appreciate sounds like a snake, but apparently they're not snakes. It's to do with the shape of their skull.
A legless lizard found throughout the country. So isn't that just a snake?
No, because it's about the shape of the skull.
Ew. Oh, I did not need to know this. I thought that there were no reptiles here.
Yeah, see, you have an issue with reptiles, whereas I would prefer a reptile in my home as opposed to...
I do not enjoy reptiles.
Anything furry. Because anything furry or with lots of legs, it's like, what are they hiding? I don't know. Versus a lizard, you got the entire geography of the animal. They're not hiding anything. No. And they're dry.
This makes no sense, and I completely disagree. I have such a deep-rooted fear of like reptile. Like I think it's like in my.
That's so interesting.
Like fight or flight. I hate them so much.
I much prefer reptiles. Are there reptiles in rainy places? You don't imagine a reptile in a rainy place.
The rainforest.
Yeah, but there are amphibians in the rainforest. Are there reptiles?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, snakes. Yeah, anacondas.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. Snakes, definitely, and like Komodo dragon, I bet it's rainy in Komodo.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a rainforest.
No clue.
Housing.
Housing.
No, creatures, I mean, we have we have foxes, squirrels,
yes.
Although they are grey squirrels from the US, boo. Badgers, rarely. Hedgehogs, rats and mice.
Yes.
Voles. Yeah. Okay. That's another type of rodent.
Yeah, when I moved to London, I kept seeing foxes, and it made me think of Fleabag.
Oh yes.
Like the priest and the
end of
yeah. Oh my god, it's so good. But I just started rewatching that. It's like my favorite show ever. It's so funny.
But in the US, you have possums.
We have possums, raccoons, coyotes.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's scary.
I mean, that's just in Maryland too. We have foxes. We have God, you name it, we have it. We have everything that you just named except more.
Yeah, there's nothing in this country that will eat your dog.
Right, and God bless. We do have things that would eat your dog. Except we are not Australia, because I talk to Australians who like are from the bush. Oh my god.
Not my idea.
We should maybe have an Australian on one time. Well, I'll find one.
Call it Oi.
Oi mate. Oi mate.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. Yeah, they're or the condensation. Sorry. I cannot say anything in an Australian accent and then not follow it up with or
Clear. Ima.
The condensation. Or yeah, any time that our flatmate says anything remotely in her accent, we copy it.
Well, they always say, "Oh, we don't say it like that," and it's like, "Well, you do though." So,
yeah, you do.
But you do. So
she hates us.
Yeah.
Except she wants to live with us again, so you can't hate us that much.
You moving?
Yeah, when our lease is up, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
we don't have a living room, and there's.
It's-
I love my room and I love the location, but
As a group of three, though, you've got more buying power.
we do have more buying power, and we're trying to find somewhere that's like has a little bit more space and.
You should probably be starting to look now, shouldn't you? I mean, that's
We are. They say May is like probably because we'll move in August.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, housing.
Yes, thank you. I've got my little spiel.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please, comment down below if you've experienced any of these things about U.S. versus American housing. I'm sure we forgot stuff. We didn't even really talk about air conditioning, which you guys also don't have.
Yes, but we did talk about heating.
Yeah, we started heating and all that. Yeah.
This episode of Oi Mista featured Katie Blake and Louis V. York. If you have any questions you would like answered in a subsequent episode, or would like to send us a message, please contact us at oimistapod@outlook.com. That's OIMISTAPOD@outlook.com. Episodes release every other Sunday. Thank you.